closer look, we're going to meet the newest member of the Chesapeake Fire Department, Cinco, the ATF Accelerant Detection Canine. And we'll talk to Linda Byrd, the Women's Division of the Hampton Roads Chamber's Chesapeake's Woman of the Year. Also, find out what you need to know about Vital Records, where you should go and how to obtain them, and how to avoid those fake websites. It's all coming up right now on A Closer Look. He was recently sworn in as the newest member of the Chesapeake Fire Department and is assigned to the Chesapeake Fire Marshal's office. Please welcome to the show Cinco and Deputy Fire Marshal Whitney Gibbs. Welcome both to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Now, what is the process, or what was the process for the fire department to obtain Cinco?
So the ATF has dogs strategically placed throughout the United States. Virginia Beach had the last dog. Their dog retired, which opened up the region for us. We applied with the application process, and we were awarded the dog. Okay.
Now, how long has he been with the department? Pretty recent.
So, yes, we are actually finishing up our second week home.
Okay.
We've been together for a couple weeks with our training.
And the training was sort of a long process. Can you tell me a little bit about what was involved in that?
Sure. So we started together at the end of October and did 6 weeks in Front Royal, Virginia, to include weekends. It was 7 days a week training all day. It was good training, but it was long.
I'm sure it is. And how old is Cinco?
Cinco's 2.5.
2.5. Yes. Okay. Well, he's just going to relax. That's great. Now, what makes Cinco a good candidate for this position?
I believe that the lab has just the all-around package. Their temperaments, their nose is great. They've been doing it for a long time. They're great with people. I think it's just the total package.
Right, so compared to like a dog that would be appropriate for the police department.
Correct.
You can see he's pretty laid back.
Right, yes. They're all, bred for different things, and this is just what they've are right for.
So he has been on the job for a couple weeks and apparently has worn him out.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what the past couple weeks have been like.
We've had 2 call-outs that we've been to, one in the city, one in a neighboring city. And then he's a food reward dog, so every day he has to train in order to eat. It's part of how the job is done. So every day we train, and every day he learns more.
Now, what's involved in the training?
We set up scenarios, so I'll go out and hide some accelerants, different classes of accelerants, at different places, inside, outside, on people, cars, and then I'll go work them through and he'll find them, and as he finds them, he gets to eat, and he eats out of my hand, and then we wrap that up, and then he gets to go back to doing this.
So tell me, for those people who may not really understand what an accelerant is, what is an accelerant in relation to, like, say, a fire?
So an accelerant is an ignitable liquid is what he's looking for, and it's something that's going to accelerate a fire. So gasoline, diesel, tiki torch oil, stuff like that, and then a whole bunch of other products and classes in between those.
So being able to detect that would help determine what causes a fire, and in some cases they would be considered deliberate?
Correct, yes. So he's an investigator, so we'll go in and look for the origin of the fire. If it's a suspicious fire, we'll bring him in, have him check to see if there were any accelerants that were used. A lot of times they'll burn away, and there'll be just trace amounts somewhere, and he can find those.
So what is the benefit for the fire department in regard to having an accelerant canine as opposed to not having one? Say,
it's an awesome tool in the toolbox. He's a regional asset, and since he's an ATF canine, we also are a national response team, so we can be called up through them. So it really gets us out and about, and it also having this tool is amazing. There's things that he can pick up that we would have never found with our normal investigations.
And it has a lot to do with just his ability to detect certain scents?
Yes.
Okay, whereas a human may not necessarily be able to do that. Correct. So you said he's a local and a regional asset. Yes. What do you mean by that? So
being ATF, the ATF can call us if they have anything big, or they have a response teams for large incidents. And then also, since we're the regional dog, any of the neighboring cities can call us, and we'll respond there to assist them with their investigations as well.
What is ATF? Remind me.
Alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
Okay,
yes.
So if there's something that's in say California, and they needed,
we wouldn't be the first pick for California, because there are 61 dogs for the ATF across the United States.
Okay.
But so anywhere on this side, if all the dogs in between here and there were busy, then yes, we would get the California call, which we would definitely go to. So
depends on the size of the event and where it's located as well.
Correct.
Okay, and where he goes, you go.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. I mean, what does Cinco do, like when his workday is over, or what are his work hours?
So his work hours are the same as mine, which could be, we could get called out at any time. And then he's a normal pet when he's not working. He goes in the office, he lives in my house, my kids hang all over him. He's great with my other dog. He's, as you can tell, not much bothers him. But I promise you, when it's time to work, he
does his job.
Yes, he's very good.
Yeah, that's great. So, like, I think you mentioned earlier that you have another animal who has been pretty receptive to having Cinco as the newest member of your household, as well as the fire department.
Yes. So I have a black lab at home, and she looks at me every morning when we leave, and I think she's saying, "Don't bring them back." But then when we come back each evening, she welcomes them back, and so everybody's doing very well with the new member.
So he understands, or your other dog understands, that he's going to work.
Yes.
So
I try to explain to that we're not going out to have fun, that we're going to work.
Right. But it probably is fun. I know he's probably received a lot of attention since he's been at the city, and probably in the department as well. So thank you both for being here. I appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing Cinco awake and on the job.
Good job.
Thank you, Cinco, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
We have to take a quick break, but up next we'll meet the Women's Division of the Hampton Roads Chamber, Chesapeake's Woman of the Year. Don't go away. The Women's Division Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce Chesapeake has selected a familiar face as their 2019 Outstanding Woman of the Year, former administrator for Chesapeake Public Schools, Mrs. Linda J. Byrd. Thanks for being here today, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, it seems you have served the citizens of Chesapeake for many years. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
About my story. It probably started, I'll start way back, when I was 4 years old, and we moved to what was then Norfolk County. I grew up on Kempsville Road, graduating from Great Bridge High School. Went to what was then Madison College, because my wonderful biology teacher, Shirley Cahoon, went to Madison College, so I had to go there too. And came back to, actually transferred from Madison College to Old Dominion College, graduated with a degree in biology, and was hired to teach in 1970, Chesapeake Public Schools. Started my career at Crestwood High School. The last year it was a high school before it was closed and the students sent to the other high schools. Great experience. I loved being a senior class sponsor, working with the students, doing projects. And then from there went on to Sparrow Road Intermediate, Indian River Junior High, Great Bridge High School, and then went into, after 16 years of teaching, went into administration with the school system, and my first job was out of central office as the Assistant Math Science Supervisor K through 12. But I have to tell you, I missed being with teenagers, and so at the end of the year, Dr. Bateman was kind enough to say, how about go to Oscar Smith High School as the Assistant Principal of Instruction. And what a wonderful day that was, that I showed up at Rogers Street and could go out on the front lawn and see those cheerleaders as they practiced for their fall routines. And it was just nice being back with teenagers. And so I stayed with teenagers and students for the rest of my career into the last 5 years. From Oscar Smith High School, I went to Crestwood Junior High, helped transition it into a middle school, and from there, I was asked to open Hickory High School. And so I stayed at Hickory High School, and in 2007, I left Hickory to take over as director of secondary instruction, stayed there for 5 years, until the next grandchild was born, and I wanted to be a grandmommy more full-time.
Wow, you've had a lot of roles in the Chesapeake school system over the years.
Yes.
Is there any one experience that stands out maybe a little bit more than others? I probably have a few, but is there any one in particular?
There's probably one from every single experience, because I never had an experience I did not enjoy. But probably the highlight of my career was opening Hickory High School. Because that was the first time we were opening a new high school with a new attendance zone in decades. And we were bringing students together from Deep Creek High and Great Bridge High and their respective middle schools. And so it was kind of like students left their schools in June as Hornets or as Wildcats.
Right.
And when they walked in September, they are now Hawks, Hickory Hawks.
Right.
And that was, it was just wonderful seeing that whole school come together, and the camaraderie and the school spirit.
Right.
And the teachers came from all over the system and out of the state, and all of them coming together. And if people remember, our building was not completely finished when the building opened. And so the teachers bonded together really, really quickly, because it could be they didn't have all their chairs.
Right.
It could be they didn't have whiteboards or chalkboards. They might not have their computers. The media center might not have had books. We might not have been able to get into a gym, music rooms, art rooms, or a cafeteria. So everyone had to work together to make it work, so the students didn't miss out on instruction.
Man, I bet you've seen a lot of technology changes over the years in teaching.
Yes. Because I started back in the days of the purple duplicator, and then to get a first computer, it was kind of like, oh my goodness. And I can remember when they brought in a fax machine in the office at Oscar Smith High School, and people come in, what is that? Yes, what is that?
And now that's obsolete.
And now that's all obsolete. Yes, you just throw those over to a corner.
Whiteboards. What's a whiteboard?
Yeah, what's a whiteboard? And then you'd be hard pressed to find a chalkboard. Because but it's just the technology's just advancing so quickly, and I think that is a major emphasis of our school system now, that we have to be able to keep up with that technology.
Right, definitely. Now, I noticed that you play an active role in the community as well.
Yes.
Is there any projects or programs that are dear to your heart?
I'm very, very active at my church, Mount Pleasant United Methodist, have to throw that out there. We have been members there for over 40 years, and I'm serving as the director of Nurture, Outreach, and Witness. And so it is project after project, and just for this fall, we have done a diaper drive for parents in need here in Chesapeake, which is a wonderful organization. We did a coat drive. We have for a trailer park that we have kind of liaisoned with. And then we also, we're doing food baskets. My husband and I facilitate a monthly game night for anybody in our church from age 6 months to 95. We're getting ready to hopefully become active with cleaning up a very, very old cemetery in the area. So there's just always those projects.
You are a busy woman.
But I love it. At the end of my life, I want people to say she had a servant's heart. And in order to go out and be that leader, you have to be a servant leader. You have to be willing to do anything that needs to be done to help other people. Besides my church, I'm active with the Pilot Club, Luncheon Pilot Club of Chesapeake, and I'm a member, not as active as I'd like to be, with the Chesapeake Sports Club.
Okay.
Because their main goal is to earn money for scholarships for high school students. And so any project that is going to benefit the youth of our city, I'm interested in. Anytime we can help a child, and also anytime we can help elderly people.
Definitely, and it sounds like you've had an impact on a lot of people throughout your career and your service. And you will be honored, which we can understand why, as Woman of the Year this coming February.
In February,
February 8th, I believe.
February 8th.
So that will be a banquet.
Yes.
With the Women's Chamber.
Yes.
And if somebody is interested in going to that, I understand that they can purchase tickets. And I believe we will find that we'll have that information available. Absolutely.
Right.
So thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. It sounds like you have done a lot and you're still planning on doing a lot more.
Right. I have to throw this out there. Probably the best thing I've ever done is have 2 daughters that also are serving our community. My oldest daughter, Jonna, is an assistant principal at Greenbrier Middle, and my youngest daughter, Amy, is a 7th grade life science teacher at Oscar Smith Middle. And I couldn't be prouder, and I couldn't be prouder of my husband that is there to do whatever, and we've been married now 50 years.
Wow,
we
congratulations.
celebrated that 50th, yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for coming on, and we look forward to the ceremony in February.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll be there.
All right. We have to take a quick break, but up next we'll find out what is considered a vital record and where to find them. Don't go away.
We hope you're staying warm and safe this winter here at readyvirginia.gov.
Remember to dress in layers and bring your pets inside.
Pack extra blankets, weather radios, and flashlights for power outages.
When outside, agree on a place to meet in case you get separated.
Get started today by downloading the free Ready Virginia app or visit readyvirginia.gov.
Heating equipment is the #1 cause of structure fires in the United States. The Chesapeake Fire Department would like to remind you to have your chimneys and furnaces inspected by qualified personnel, maintain a 3-foot clearance against all portable heating devices, and never use your oven to heat your home.
Questions, concerns, service requests? The Chesapeake Customer Contact Center has you covered. Potholes, inspections, utilities, you name it. Operators are standing by, on the phone and online. We can automatically route your request to any city department for prompt resolution. cityofchesapeake.net/requests, or just call 382-CITY. That's 382-2489. Your one-stop shop for city service. 382-CITY.
Welcome back to A Closer Look. We've heard the term vital records, but what is a vital record and where can we find them? Here to tell us is Monica Chandanais, Vital Records Registrar with the Chesapeake Health Department. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what is considered a vital record?
Well, I receive a lot of calls with people asking for all kinds of records, but at the health department, we issue birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce certificates, and death certificates.
So if someone's looking for like a court document, that would not be with the health department, obviously.
Right.
That would more than likely be with the courts,
Yes.
right? Okay. Now, what are some reasons that a person would need to obtain a copy of a vital record?
It's always a good idea to keep certified copies of your family's vital records. Birth certificates are used for identification cards, to get passports.
Right, that's true.
For Social Security cards, to enroll in school.
Right.
Marriage and divorce certificates are used also for identification cards and for insurance purposes.
Right.
And death certificates, excuse me, are important to finalize affairs for a family member, for debts and mortgages, bank accounts, and insurance
anything
policies.
like that, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So once, say for instance, someone gets married, gets divorced, or passes, or is born, those records are automatically sent to the health department, or where are they stored?
Yes. For any event that occurs in the state of Virginia, they are sent to the Division of Vital Records in Richmond, which is where all of the records are held.
Okay. Okay. Now, who is eligible for a vital record?
Immediate family only are eligible for vital records. So mother, father, sister, brother, children, or oneself.
Now, is there a cost? Say I wanted to get a copy of a vital record, say a birth certificate. Would there be a fee associated with that if I called the health department?
Yes, there's a $12 fee per search and per certificate that you're requesting.
Now, I know recently there has been some concern about like some third-party sites out there that are charging for some vital records. Can you talk a little bit about that, or some concerns that people should be aware of?
Yeah, there are a lot of fraudulent sites concerning vital records, and they can be very costly. So I would suggest that if you must order a certificate online, make sure that you're on a government or state website and follow the links on that site.
So that's the safest way, is to make sure that it is a state or government site.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of times, and for other things as well, like you'll just put in, how do I get a vital record, and say Google.
Right.
And that's what triggers these sites to come up.
Yes.
And if someone doesn't know, they would go to the first site that probably popped up.
Right. So it's really important to know that you're on a state website or government website.
Now, what do you need to provide or bring with you when you're requesting a vital record?
There's a list of identifications on the back of the application, and you can get that information online as well. But most commonly used is a state-issued or military-issued identification.
Okay, so if I needed to get a copy, say, for a passport, excuse me, so I would probably need a birth certificate?
Yes.
And it's an official copy?
Yes, they're all certified copies.
Okay, so I would send that in, and hopefully it would come back. Okay,
Yeah.
So it would be, what time frame are we looking at to receive one?
Well, now that the state has decentralized vital records to the local health districts, we have access to them locally. So if you come in and fill out an application, have your identification, in most cases we can issue them the very same day. And the whole process takes approximately 30 minutes.
Oh, wow. So that's pretty quick turnaround. Say, for instance, if you got invited to go out of the country and you don't have a passport, that would not take a lot of time. Is that fairly new that it can be issued through the health department?
Yeah, within the last couple of years is when they started decentralizing. In Chesapeake, we just got our final, we got access to records in July. So we've been able to issue all records for the state of Virginia since the 1st of July of 2019.
Okay, so if someone had a question about where to get a vital record, what is a vital record, are there websites that they can go to? What do you recommend?
The state website is probably best for vital records for Virginia. It's www.vdh.virginia, the word spelled out, .gov. And there, if you just type in vital records, there's a lot of question and answers and information that you can locate there. And there's also links for other state websites for other state vital records. Also, the CDC has a list of all of state's vital records.
All right, great. And they can go to the health department site as well. Well, thank you, Monica, for coming on and talking about vital records with us. I appreciate the information. Thank you. Well, that does it for this edition of A Closer Look. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
You never know what might happen. You could get stuck in a massive traffic jam.
Your car might break down on the side of the road. A winter storm hits right when you're trying to get home.
Having a few supplies in your vehicle could make a bad situation better. So take a few minutes and make a great car emergency kit.
You don't have to spend a lot of money. Look around at what you might already have. A few bottles of water and some non-perishable food.
A written list of emergency contacts, a flashlight and batteries. How about a whistle you can blow to get attention?
Rain gear such as a poncho and umbrella. For cold weather, mittens or gloves, socks and a cap. Even these hand warmers will help you, and you can put them in your shoes too.
A couple of blankets would be really great if you're unexpectedly stuck in the snow or an ice storm.
So you mentioned snow. Don't forget your ice scraper and kitty litter or sand.
What's that for?
Well, the bag weighs down your car to give it more traction. And if you're stuck, you can sprinkle the sand or litter under your tires to help you get going.
During the winter, it's a good idea to use windshield wiper fluid with de-icer and to have a can of de-icer in your emergency car kit. For personal comfort, throw in some paper towels, toilet paper, maybe some hand wipes. Look around to see what you already have and make a car emergency kit today, because you never know.
Shoveling snow off our walkways and sidewalks can put stress on the heart, so you may need to check with your doctor first. Know your limits and don't overdo it. Warming up first with some light exercise is preferred, and stretching can prevent strains before you grab that shovel. Dress for shoveling success with proper winter clothing in layers and adjust as needed. You can avoid falls with shoes or boots that have slip-resistant soles. And always take a break if you feel yourself getting too hot or too cold. Try to shovel before the snow gets too deep and packed down. Then shovel again later if necessary. This can help prevent ice from forming underneath, and remember, wet snow is heavier. When possible, try to push the snow away. But if you must lift, use your legs, knees bent and back straight. Avoid holding a shovel full of snow with your arms outstretched because it puts too much weight on your spine. Don't throw the snow over your shoulder or to the side. This requires a twisting motion that also stresses your back. Always offer to remove snow or ice from your neighbor's walkway. They may not be able to do this themselves. Be safe, stay warm, and enjoy the scenery.